Hey everybody, as some of you know, it has been a really exciting about 24 hours. Robert Francis Kennedy Jr., the son of Robert Kennedy Sr., who he is the nephew of John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy, and if I remember correctly, Robert Sr. was also president for a small amount of time before he was, of course, assassinated. Yep, he was president from January. Well, no, he was also United States General. Jeez, States Attorney General. Man, craziness. But to get back into it, I watched the Kennedy announcement on the Quarterings channel on Rumble, and I was blown away. I was kind of like, wow. And then he kind of rambled about the whole health thing and the food and big pharma. And I was kind of like, whatever. But I started thinking about some of what was going to go on, and then Trump made his remarks and stated that he's going to start some type of committee on presidential assassinations. And I'll be honest, I was like, oh man, two certain alphabet agencies are in very, very deep trouble. Although I am not going to lie to you, I pretty much expect all of those records are suddenly going to go missing and nobody's going to know where they were. Oh gosh, they just disappeared. Everything just disappeared. Oh no. Oh, how did that happen? As a certain Scottish comedian and content creator would say, "Oh no, how did that happen? Oh dear." I'm gonna leave a link though to HB. I'm gonna put a mention for HB in here and maybe for the certain utensil and a few others, because here's what I am thinking is going to happen. Because I already know what the media's response is going to be. First thing they're going to do, this is the first thing I know they're going to do. They're going to bring up the fact that Kennedy's family, the rest of his family has supposedly said that they don't agree with him siding with Trump. They see it as a betrayal and so on and so on. So the Joy Reids of the world and hell, the TYTs, they're all going to be like, oh, Kennedy, well, his family doesn't agree with this. His family thinks he's wrong. They feel that he's a traitor. And this will be to set you up to think, well, we shouldn't listen to Kennedy. Everyone else thinks he's a traitor. His own family thinks he's nuts. Oh, man. We can't deal with Kennedy now, can we? So then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to bring up the fact that he endorsed Trump. And this may not always necessarily be in the order that I'm giving you, but I'm trying to give you what I think the best order is possible. They're going to say that, well, since he endorsed Trump, that means he's kind of a traitor, he's kind of a backstabber, or he's just looking to get in good somewhere because Democrats didn't see him as a viable candidate. So he's attacking the Democrats by going for Trump. They're going to claim that Kamala Harris would have brought him in if he wasn't so kooky. Oh, if he wasn't so busy attacking the Democrat Party left and right. And that's going to just build this thing up of where you shouldn't listen to Kennedy at all. You shouldn't vote for Trump. That's what they're going to say, because Kennedy is there. Kennedy's a traitor, and this just tells us that Donald Trump is a traitor too. So then the next one that they're going to do is they're going to start saying, well, Kennedy's a conspiracy theorist. It's well known. Look him up on Wikipedia. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's like the left-wing version of Alex Jones or Joe Rogan. And they will bring up that he went on Joe Rogan, which proves that he's a conspiracy theorist. And I think he also went on Joe Rogan. I mean, not Joe Rogan, but Alex Jones. Maybe he did. If he didn't, I'm wrong. But they're going to start bringing up the fact that he's a conspiracy theorist. And then they're going to say, well, all conspiracy theorists are far right. So therefore, even though Kennedy claims to be a Democrat, he's actually far right. He's far right in hiding. He's been hiding his far rightness all this time, and now he's finally shown his true colors. So he's a conspiracy theorist and a kook. Don't believe him. He's also a traitor. Don't believe him. They'll just pile these things on over and over and over again to get you to be afraid, primarily of Trump. Not really him, because they don't see him as significant. Even though Trump has gotten a major boost in the polls for right now, they'll also tell you, oh, don't worry about the Trump bump that Trump got from this, because, you know, Trump he's not worth anything. He's not worth anything, so this bump will only last a few days or a couple of weeks at most, and don't worry about it. Then it'll be back to business as usual. Kamala is your best candidate. That's how they're going to do this. And depending upon how the public response in the polls will be, you'll see how quickly they jump between these narratives. Now, one of the next narratives is going to be that behind the scenes, Kennedy's staff feels betrayed. Kennedy's staff is this or that. And, they have from sources within the Kennedy campaign that they already knew that Kennedy was crazy, that they already knew that Kennedy was a traitor, and they hoped to pull him back up from the edge of joining up with Donald Trump, but they just couldn't do it. Kennedy wouldn't listen to anybody. He's unhinged, and some people think he's unwell. Yeah, so they're going to go for, well, poor Kennedy, he's just crazy. He's just a poor nut job. This is sad, but, this is what they're going to do. The next step will be that they'll downplay the committee, saying that, Trump is just buying off Kennedy. He offered Kennedy this, and Kennedy took it because, Kennedy's so desperate to find out what happened to his father and his uncle and so many people in his family. He's just so desperate, he'll do anything. But don't worry about this committee. It's not going to discover anything that we don't already know. So it's basically Trump just feeding a poor rabid dog a bone. And once he's done with that, Kennedy will be shuffled off somewhere and forgotten. Boy, I'm pretty sure you guys hope that's what's going to happen. The next thing they'll do, and this will probably be in a few weeks, they'll say that sources deep inside the Trump campaign are saying that Donald Trump has told them that he's just offering Kennedy a bone and that he really doesn't care about Kennedy. He just wants Kennedy's voters. Kennedy, he's a nut job and an idiot, but I had to get him on my side because I needed his votes because Kamala's beating me down horribly. And they're going to come out with that at least once a day, that some new source has told them that Donald Trump really hates Robert F. Kennedy and couldn't care less about him. He's just throwing him a bone to get rid of him. So it's going to be a full court, constant press trying to dismiss and discredit Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just because they believe that somehow that will help you to discredit Trump. It's just absolute insanity. Now, I will say one thing about this committee. It does kind of feel like, why are you throwing that to him? What good is that going to do? That man needs to be on the FDA and numerous other boards, but then he may be on them later on too, if Trump wins. I'm looking at it right now. Trump winning is a 60-40. Yeah, 60 for Trump, 40 for Kamala. But we will see how this all goes. I'm really kind of interested in how they're going to play this. And I'll be quite brutally honest. I'm excited at the thought of Robert Kennedy digging deep into the FBI, the CIA, and all these other alphabet agencies that have been responsible for maybe certain things happening in the past. And seeing who's going to come up on charges, what's going to happen here or there. I can assure you, we're getting drips about the Trump assassination attempt. Next year, if Trump can get Kennedy in on this committee within just, let's say, a month of him getting into office, oh boy. I'll say honestly also that I think a lot of these records about the Kennedy assassination, the Trump attempted assassination, the Reagan attempted assassination, and if I remember correctly, the Robert F. Kennedy Sr. assassination, all of that stuff is going to disappear. I really think it will. if it hasn't already. Because I don't think there's anybody alive other than J. Edgar Hoover, maybe, who was around during that time that might be able to shed some light on some things. I just don't see it happening. I really just don't. But you never know. Hey, once the committee's over, said and done with, off to the FDA, off to some other places to burn those swamp places down. You know, Kennedy's looking real good right now. You know, if nothing else, here's what I want Kennedy to find out, and I'm just being honest. As a black man, I want him to find proof that crack, cocaine, and some of these other more dangerous drugs were brought into the country and placed in the black community by the government. If Kennedy can get me that, I'll push for him to be a vice president instead of J.D. Vance. I like J.D. Vance, but Kennedy, let's just say Kennedy scares them, I think, a bit more than J.D. Vance. Okay? So, folks, you know, like, subscribe, comment, tell HB about this. I know he's going to be on in about an hour, 2 hours, maybe a little more than that. About 3 hours, yeah, about 3 hours. Tell him about this video so, you know, he can play it and say, you know, give his opinion on things. All right, everybody. Take care and have a blessed day.